I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you
Greetings, technicians. This is Admin Crow here, your coach of the Toronto Star Raptors, bringing you the final battle in the regular season for the PCL, the Pokemon Champions League. This week we are taking on Facilia, the coach of the Lancashire Luxrays, for the second time in an epic rematch. This is the final week 10 of the PCL. So I believe that the result of this battle actually doesn't matter. Facilia, he's a very good player, but he doesn't have the best record this season. So he's actually guaranteed out of playoffs, and I believe dependent on the battle result between Clutch and White Lotus, which are the two other coaches within our division, the Raptors are actually clinched, well, I guess guaranteed playoffs at this point. So if we win this battle, we will be going to playoffs as the first seed within our division. I believe just the first seed overall within the conference. And if we lose, we'll be going in as a second seed within our division. So this week, I actually brought a sort of a meme team and just be able to show off a couple members here on the Raptors that I haven't been able to bring this season. So let's just hop into the team builder, shall we? So first up, we do have Roshan the Dawn fan. Packing a Figgy Berry with the ability Sturdy. The movesets are pretty standard. These are Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Ice Shard, and Earthquake. Ice Shard is mainly there for the Mega Pidgeot and Zygarde 10%. And just be able to get trip damage on the Gengar, which has a really high chance of coming, and the potential Mimikyu. His fairy types doesn't resist dark types, so in Curcio the Hydreigon will be putting a lot of work, but I need some chip damage on it before I can finish him off with dark pulses. That's why I have Ice Shard, and Earthquake is just there for general stab. Rapid Spin is there for general hazard control, and Stealth Rock, as you can see on his roster, he doesn't really have the best type of hazard removal. His team did change drastically from the first time we played back in week 1. Back then he had Zygarde Tren and with Ribombi as his fairy type. Well, I guess one of his fairy type. And right now he has Darkinium Z with Hoopa, which is such a huge threat. As you can see with my team that I brought this week, he can, like, Darkinium Z Hoopa just straight up claims one. Like I literally have no switch-ins for Hoopa. But you'll see it in a little bit. I have a strategy up on my sleeve to play around it. And the Figgy Berry is just so in case that I get to a low enough amount, as I am physically defensive, I can take physical hits relatively well. And with that Sturdy ability, I can take at least one hit and trigger the Figgy Berry to ensure that I get off my rocks or get rid of rocks if he set them up. And yeah, it's just pretty straightforward. The EVs are just max HP with mostly defensive investment with a little bit of speed to speed creep that Vileplume, and the I believe is Rhyperior that shares a similar speed tier, and just a little bit of attack. And up next we do have Incurcio the Hydreigon coming back again this week, even though I'm bringing a meme team, but Hydreigon is just so good against them. With the item Choice Scarf to ensure that I outrun that potential Choice Scarf Hoopa, and be able to outrun that Mega Pidgeot, put on offensive pressure. He very well may bring a Choice Scarf Gengar, as it's actually very good against my team, because I do have 2 fairies and I don't really have a Ghost Resist. It destroys my 2 fairies with Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave, and be able to fire off Shadow Balls against Victini and Kofac. So that's something I have to be wary about. Plus, the reason that it can be Choice Scarf, it also guarantees outspeed my Choice Scarf Hydreigon. So my moves are U-Turn, Dark Pulse, Draco Media, and Earth Power. Earth Power is there mainly as a filler move if I really want to click it, but mainly most of the time I'm going to be clicking Dark Pulses. As I mentioned before, his fairy type does not resist Dark, and Draco Meteor is there to clinch a little bit more damage overall if he lost his fairy already, and I want to be able to pick up a KO on whatever that's in front of me. And U-Turn, there, aside from momentum this week, is also there for the Hoopa, simply because it's actually quite weak to bug. Even with minus attack nature with no investment, I have a chance to knock it out. With the EV spreads here, just max attack with modest nature and just enough speed so that I can outrun I think a Scarf Hoopa. I think that's what I set this thing to outrun. I'm pretty sure it's a Scarf Hoopa. That's why I had to run this much speed. If I set it to outrun Mega Pidgeot, I didn't need this much speed. Anyways, and just the rest in HP. And yeah, so up next we have Victini, my first heat set of the week. I mean of this week's builder. With nickname Ara, of course, the items are weakness policy with the ability Victory Star. The movesets are Flame Charge, Bow Strike, Blue Flare, and Psychic. So the EV spreads are pretty heat, as you can see over here. It's actually, I did a lot of work. Even though I tried to bring a meme set, I really wanted to work. That's why I had to do a lot of homework, right? So the idea behind the set is that I'll be able to get up a Flame Charge against either Mimikyu or the Vaporeon, which both I think have a really high chance of coming. Mimikyu simply because it does have that disguise ability, be able to set up sword stances and be able to spin block from my Roshan, the Donphan. And the other Vaporeon is a very good switch into my Victini. Overall, he has to bring either Rhyperior or the Vaporeon against me. I thought about running Energy Ball, but I didn't want to trigger potential weakness policy on that Rhyperior. And it also hits the Vaporeon, but outside of that, it doesn't really hit anything else. That's why I opt to go for Psychic instead. So the EV spread here, right? So I think I should start with the speed. I just have enough speed so that at +1, I outrun a max speed Mega Pidgeot. And I have enough attack so that after I take a Scald from a Vaporeon, I will be able to knock it out even with leftovers recovery from with a Bow Strike from fall. That's what the lonely nature, the plus attack nature and the attack investment is for. So I tried to calculate with rocks, but it didn't really work in my mocks simply because he can just protect and get back leftover recoveries if he has protect. That's why I had to EV it so that it guarantees knocks out a fully physically defensive Vaporeon from fall. That's what the Bow Strike plus weakness policy plus flame charge is for. And after that, if I have my weakness policy triggered, I'll just be able to dent his team tremendously with the combination of Blue Flare and Psychic. And the rest is just dumping HP I wanted to have over 100 HP to ensure that I can take the Scald comfortably even after rocks. I believe I do take the Scald even after Stealth Rocks. That's why I had over 100 HP investment, and the rest just dumping special attack to help my Blue Flare and Psychic hit as hard as I can. So up next we have another heat set here, Winter Junior Toxapex packing the Assault Vest with the ability Regenerator. Packing the moves knockoff Icy Wind, Scald, Sludge Bomb. I'm finally not bringing Recover Scald Hates plus filler move Toxapex for once. So the EV spreads here, right? I really needed both attack and special attack on this, even though I have no investment, simply because there's a chance that I 2-hit KO the Gengar with knockoff if he's packing an item, which I mean, he can give the Dark Z to Gengar, but you know, it doesn't really make sense, right? But so assuming he has an item the first time around, I can knock off, and if I don't trigger the Curse Body, I can actually go for a knockoff and potentially knock out the Gengar even with no investment in attack. That's why I have the relaxed nature here. I don't really need my speed with a minus speed nature, obviously. And with Assault Vest and 100 points in Spdef, I guarantee live a Shadow Ball into a Thunderbolt coming from a timid Life Orb Gengar, and I also doesn't get 3-hit KO'd by Hurricanes coming from Mega Pidgeot, because as you can see, I literally have no switch into Mega Pidgeot. I really wanted to bring both Chelsea, the Masquerain, and the Akame, the Laurentis this week, and both of these are weak to Mega Pidgeot, so I really had need to have something for that Mega PG out this week, and for the Gengar. Both of these two I think have a really good chance of coming. That's why I had to bring Toxapex. I debated back and forth on the slot. I thought about Clefable because he does have that Dark Name Z Hoopa, and I also thought about Kofag, simply because I can set up T-Spikes if he doesn't bring a Poison types. But I opt to go against that because Toxapex with Assault Vest is a lot safer in my opinion. And up next, finally, we have another member of the Raptors making her first debut, Chelsea, the Masquerade, packing the leftovers with the ability Intimidate. The movesets are Sticky Web, U-Turn, Roost, and Air Slash. Air Slash is just so that I can hit most of his roster neutrally, and the EV spreads are just max HP with max defense and defense boosting nature, with a little bit of speed in case he wants to. He brings a more defensive Hoopa, or I guess a more bulky Hoopa with Trick Room or something. I don't know, but just in case that he wants to speed creep the 80 speed mark. I don't think he's gonna expect me to bring Masquerade in the first place because I never brought it. Anyway, so the sets here are just set up Sticky Web, so I have speed control on my side. Is mainly benefit Victini, so I don't have to set up that flame charge sometimes, and the other members like my Incursion, the Hydreigon, I'll speed everything barring the Choice Scarf Gengar anyway, so it also helps him out, but it's mainly to support my Akame, the Relentless, which you guys will see a little bit. That's what my strategy this week is based around. And U-Turn is there for mainly the Hoopa and momentum purposes. Roost is to get back health in case he does set up a Stealth Rock. And and the other thing is, if he does bring a Trick Room Hoopa, it's mostly likely gonna be, or 4 attacks Hoopa, it's mostly likely gonna be Psychic move, Dark Space Fury, and Fighting move. He does get a Drain Punch for my Hydreigon, or else my Hydreigon kind of walls it. Well, not walls it very well, but it can act as a switch-in. So those 3 moves I expect for sure. For the last slot, he might run a Trick Room or Fire Punch for the Scizor. That's what I'm expecting from him. So if he does, if he ever comes to a situation where I have to basically face Hydreigon, use Hydreigon to face the Hoopa, I can safely switch into Chelsea because there's no way he goes Fire Punch on the Hydreigon, right? And be able to scout out, or the Psychic move, I guess, be able to scout out that Drain Punch with my Masquerade, as I do have that Intimidate to weaken his attacks, and plus I do quad resist fighting, so that's actually a really good synergy there against the Hoopa. That's what I'm gonna try to do, just be able to scout out the Hoopa set this week, since I don't have any of my fairies to take the Dark Gem Z. So that's my strategy there. So up next we have the star of this week. I really hope this set put in the work. So a little bit breaking a little bit of fourth wall here. I actually already played with Facidia by this point, so you guys will have to wait till when the battle goes up to see whether if this actually worked or not. So Akame making her first debut on the Raptors as well, packing the item Choice Scarf with the ability Contrary, right? And the movesets are Leaf Storm, Superpower, Knockoff, and Aerial Ace. So all 3 of these attacks are filler moves. the only move I'll be clicking is Leaf Storm, but in case if I predict a switch or something, the Knockoff can be nice, and it also hits the Gengar, which actually resists my Leaf Storm. But the strategy is basically try to set up webs with Chelsea and be able to potentially clean up his team with a Choice Scarf Akame, the Relentless. The EV spreads are max special attack with max speed 250 to 252, and just 4 points in attack with naive nature, boosting my speed even further. So the thing is, right, even with a Choice Scarf, Laurent is so slow. I tried really hard to make this work. I really hope it works. Even with a Choice Scarf, I don't outspeed anything that's above like 91 base speed, so I don't even outspeed the Mimikyu. That's why I had to bring sticky web on top of the choice scarf to make this set even work, and hopefully I land all my leaf storms. And the other thing is, fun fact, Laurentis actually hits harder than Superior, which is the more superior contrary user. No pun intended there. But Superior hits a special attack of 75. Laurentis actually hits a special attack of 80. So this thing is in tier 5, where Superior is in tier 2, and we're even debating. Like, I think we're voting in the league that we might even bring Superior to tier 1. So it's kind of ridiculous how a tier 5 mon with contrary can hit harder than a potential tier 1 mon with the same ability. But the only thing dragging it down, of course, is the speed. So yeah, that's gonna be the team for this week. I really hope the sticky web Laurentis combo put in the work, and potentially the Victini sets as well. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the team this week. I guess I'll see you guys in the battle. This is gonna be Admin Crow here signing off. See you in the next one. Goodbye, technicians.